All right, welcome back. Carton and Roberts live, Florham Park, Atlantic Health, New York Jets facility, which is just an amazing place, state of the art, and becoming of a team that's on the rise for sure. Joining us now is the second-year coach of the New York Jets, Robert Saleh. Robert, Craig, Evan, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing great. And you guys, I appreciate you guys having me on here.
Yeah, we were thinking about this the whole summer. Wanted to come out and see you guys. We haven't really talked to you since last year. Give me and Jet fans a sense for you personally, going into year two as the man, as the head coach, how much either easier it is, more comfortable it is for you compared to last year where everything was really fresh and new.
Yeah, I don't know if it's easier as much as it is just understanding what to expect with regards to the administrative stuff, the media schedule, all the different departments that you got to deal with that kind of take away from your ability to coach football.
Because I remember last year, if I remember the story correct, at the end of the first practice, you forgot that you're the guy that's supposed to blow the whistle, right? You know you're the guy now, right?
Yeah.
That's good.
We got that one out the way.
We're clean on that.
So was the coaching stuff then easier? I mean, obviously you've been on the sidelines, long-time defensive coordinator. Was that aspect of coaching the easiest transition?
Yeah, that's easy. We've been doing that our whole lives, but now you're having to deal with all the different departments and deal with the media and messaging, and because you're so used to just dealing with either A, your position room, or B, your unit, because you're a coordinator. But now it's global, and it's not just your unit. You're talking about what you want social media to put out and what the entire organization says.
So
because it's gotta
is
match.
delegating that hard? Was that uncomfortable, or was that part of the experience for you that you had to figure out?
It's just kind of learning the lay of the land and how to just get it to the right people, because it's football. You're seeing stuff, and you're like, why is that being put out there? And it's
Got it. It's all on you. At the end of the day, you're the most responsible. All right, let's talk football with you. Joe is just here, and I have to ask because it's my job. Have you decided inside your head? Maybe you haven't shared it with anybody yet. Do you have an emotional, mental feeling of right now today who's starting game one?
No, like I said, Zach is the future of this organization.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone's aware of that. And if he's healthy, he's rolling. And,
Period, stop.
Period, stop. And so it's just a matter of seeing where he's at with his knee once we get closer to game week and make a decision from there.
Let me ask you this. If you thought Zach's 100% healthy, but the way you look at the Baltimore Ravens week one, you just think, hey, Joe may give us a better chance to win game one, but he's not Zach Wilson. Zach's healthy. Would you make a decision based on he gives me a better chance to win, or Zach's healthy, Zach's the guy, doesn't matter?
That's a little tough one.
That's why you're paid.
A little hypothetical right there, man. No, like I said, we have all the faith in the world in Zach. It doesn't matter whether it's Baltimore or the 85 Bears. Like he's going to be a really good quarterback in this league, and we think he's made a tremendous jump this year. And I stand by it. Like, he is the future of this organization, and being able to play teams like Baltimore is really beneficial for him. And you could argue, and everyone could have an opinion on whether or not who gives who the best chance to win now, but we're trying to win championships in the future too. And not that Joe can't do that, but at the same time, it's understanding where we're trying to take the organization and do all those things.
This part, I think, is easy, because I think most people would say you start Zach Wilson. Zach's healthy, he's the week one starter. Where it gets tricky, and you almost got a preview of it last year, was the whole Mike F. and White thing. Yep. He starts playing well. You get peppered with questions. We're screaming on the radio, Mike White's got to play. Mike White's got to play. If Joe Flacco starts right out of the gate and looks like the guy who won a Super Bowl, how do you not start him again? Like, if you guys start off, dare I say, 1-0, 2-0, and Flacco's playing well, I get the future aspect. We all agree with that. But how the heck could you sit Joe Flacco at that point?
I don't know. We'll cross that bridge if we ever get there.
All right, let's talk about a guy that requested a trade yesterday, Denzel Mims, who by all accounts has had a good summer and seems committed and is doing the things you guys have asked him to do. But it's also a numbers crunch. How much playing time could he get, and where is he on the depth chart? Do you think the organization will try to honor that request, or do you think Denzel's going to have to suck it up and, if he gets in, he gets in. If not, too bad, you're on the Jets.
No, Denzel's come in this entire offseason. He's competed his butt off. He's in much better shape. He's got a better grasp of the system. The unfortunate part, but fortunate part for the Jets is that our receiver room is pretty darn deep. You got Corey, you got Elijah, you got Garrett, and they're our top three guys, and you throw in Berrios in there too. And so he's not where he wants to be.
Right.
I don't think this represents how he feels about this organization, his coaching staff, the players that he plays with, his teammates, the locker room. Like I don't think any of that. He just wants to be the man.
To play.
He wants to be the man.
The sense is, going back to last year, that for whatever reason, and you watch him much more than we do, obviously, is that you guys don't love him. You guys weren't a huge fan of him, whether it's work ethic or bad luck because he was sick. I don't know the reasons, but it did feel last year like you guys were kind of done with him. No,
well, no, it's there's if you're wearing a Jets uniform, it's our job to get you to where you want to be. The best way we know how. There is no personal feelings. I'm not going to hold back an organization because I think I don't like a good player. Like that's how organizations lose. You set aside your feelings. Our job is to get Denzel Mims where he wants to get to and where we want him to get to.
Did he personally talk to you about the trade request and how he feels about his status here?
Yeah, we've had many conversations. He's expressed it that he wants to be the guy. He wants to be one of the top three.
So what do you tell him when he says that?
Sorry.
You tell him the truth. It's right now Corey and Garrett and Elijah are ahead of him, and so his role is he's got to know the 3 different spots. He's got to be able to be great on teams, and he's been battling it.
When he's on the field, because I was reading he was practicing today, I think, with the third team, or maybe I'm speculating. I have no idea. Was his attitude right? Like, did he go out there and say, all right, still here, and I'm trying my ass off? Like,
you're talking about
today?
Oh,
yeah.
No, he was great. He's been great every day. He was in meetings. He was sitting up, eye contact, had a great meeting in my office, was out at practice, played with great urgency and intent. So he's been the same. It's like I said, I don't think this has anything to do with his dislike for the organization or his teammates or his coaches. It's just I think he's a competitor. He wants to play and he wants to be in that lead spot.
I guess I should ask, what is the latest update on Zach's recovery, and is there a possibility that he could be 100% week 1?
Yeah, he's walking around. I think people see him walking around. The day after his surgery, he was without crutches. He's getting his rehab. He meets extra with Calabrese and LaFleur, so there's a real chance.
Will he practice in the next week?
We'll see. We're going to see how he looks.
Does he have to play?
We'll make that. Yeah, he definitely has to practice to play for sure.
So last year, the defense was actually, you fill in the blank. How would you describe the performance of the defense last year?
Not good enough.
Okay,
not good enough. There was especially that 4-game stretch after the bye week with New England and Cincinnati, Indianapolis, and Buffalo. I think was the worst 4-game stretch in the history of football.
No, I'm glad you said that.
So it's
because I was going to say it. What when you took over? I remember Craig and I talking about this. We said, you know what? I know there's a lot of youth on defense. They're going to play well because Coach Saleh's taking over. When you evaluate what went wrong last year, was it coaching? Was it talent? Why was it, as you said, not good enough?
Well, we're in this together, so it's going to be everything. It's a collective group. If you touch it, you're responsible for it. And obviously, it wasn't to our standard. And I look back at those 4 games; it was so bad that we could not recover from a statistical standpoint. But from an efficiency standpoint, that's where analytics come into play and all that. I know we're not the worst defense in football. I know we're going to be a heck of a lot better, and really excited to get this taste out of our mouths.
A big part of why I think we think it's going to be better is because of Sauce. So are you ready to finally announce the obvious? He is starting.
You can't call him Sauce yet. Right? It's Ahmad.
Until
the veterans say he can call himself Sauce. And I don't know if they've said yes to that yet.
Can we call him starter at least?
Yeah, no, we had our conversations after the personnel meetings and all that, and made that decision, and so Ahmad is
Ahmad.
Well, I'm not telling Lawson he can't call him whatever he wants to call him.
He's rolling at left corner, so
nice.
Listen, I know you guys see him, every day, going against your receivers, and a little bit we've seen him in the preseason, but from whatever I've read and the little bit I've seen of him, seems like he's as special as you guys thought he was when you drafted him.
Gardner?
Yeah.
He's a competitor, learning every day. Even the practice yesterday, he learned a lot of new things. He was like, man, because he was frustrated with some of the stuff he said. It felt like college. I was like, buddy, you're going to get these routes in the NFL too. They transfer over. And so he's learning every day on what he can and can't do. And that's why these inter-squad practices are so good, because the Giants ran routes that we just don't run, and so he was seeing a bunch of different things, and I love his mindset. He's always collecting and downloading information and finding ways to get better. He's always talking trash, and I love it.
It's nonstop, right?
Did he benefit from this? Because when you said it was a competition, I'm laughing. Like, it ain't a competition. This guy's taking as high as he's taken. He better be a starter. If he's not, everybody's got to be fired. So do you think he benefited from the quote-unquote competition to earn the way to be starter?
Well, I'm gonna tell you guys a story real quick. So we had, and this is where I learned my foundation from. So Pete Carroll we pay all this money to Matt Flynn, right? That
I remember, yeah.
Paid him a ton of money. And he's going to be our starting quarterback in 2000.
Right, off that one great game he had, right?
Yeah, off that unbelievable, right? And he was a good quarterback, don't get me wrong. But then we draft this kid in the 3rd round,
Russell
Wilson,
Yep.
and you know, like Pete is, everyone's competing. It doesn't matter. I don't care where you were drafted. I don't care what round you were taken. And Russell took that job. So you never want to just assume. Bryce Hall is a veteran. He had a good year last year. Could have been better, but we felt like he was getting better. He's had a really good camp. And so I probably, that was as real as it gets. And if Bryce Hall happens to beat out the 4th overall pick, well, that would have just meant that we had a kid that was better than the 4th overall pick, not that the 4th overall pick was no
That's
good.
fair. Talking to Coach Saleh for another minute or two, at any point this offseason, I know you picked up the game of golf and you love golf, but did you go back and watch the television broadcasts of all the Jet games from last year to get a different perspective on how you guys looked?
I do that after every week.
You do?
So
you're watching in real time, like with the broadcasters and whoever's critiquing the performance, yeah.
I do that on Monday as part of the evaluation.
And what's that like?
I think it creates, or it perception's reality. So whatever it is that's being talked about, whatever it is you look like, how do we feel? What's the speed? Like, what is are we jumping off the tape? Is our style jumping off the tape? The effort, the technique, the violence that we talk about.
Did you find yourself yelling at the analysts? You don't know what you're talking about. Like
no,
that kind of stuff?
because perception's reality.
Collinsworth, shut up! You talk too much anyway.
If that's their perception, then that's truth.
Did you think did it help you? Like, would you pick something up that maybe a really good former player and analyst says about your team, where you're myopic during the game as a coach, you don't see left and right necessarily, where they may have seen it in a way you never thought of, and you've now implemented that, and it's made you a better coach?
I don't know if anything's been implemented, but there's always information to gather. And I go back to Pete again. I was a QC in Houston for 6 years, and I don't think anyone ever listened to anything, right? And Pete hires me as another quality control, and we're in one of our first meetings, and Pete asks for my opinion. And it was the first time I was like, wow. Me? And he gets me, yeah, get up on the board, draw it up. And it was just observing Pete. He didn't care where the opinion came from. It was his choice to use it or not. And so very open.
Well, that's great leadership.
Give me all the information. I'll take it from anywhere, anyone. I'll just make the decision and understand exactly what it is I'm trying to get across and collect it the way I need to.
So you're wearing a T-shirt that say "Positive Vibes Only,"
which I don't know why I don't have one of those.
The New York Jet fan, and I'm not saying it's me, though I'm a part of it, are probably the most negative fans in sports. Do you feel that? Do you feel? And look, this isn't your fault. This is not your fault when I say this. This has been pathetic for a decade, and I'm not blaming you because you've only been here for a year. But it's been bad. We are desperate for wins, like desperate. Like we're in the Sahara Desert. We're thirsty. We need 9-10 wins badly, but we're negative. Do you feel that negativity from this fan base?
So, yes, but you know what's funny? I was eating breakfast a couple weeks ago, and Mike Tannenbaum. He's on whichever ESPN show he's on, and he started talking about his interaction with Herm when Herm was here, and Herm was screaming about the media, and he's like, and Mike had to calm Herm down and he said, Herm, the media does not want to see you be successful, and I was like, they still don't, but I guess, and you know, it's
some media, not us,
not all.
Like we're desperate.
Well, we're different though, but it's different because it's going to be I'd have to explain this. As talk show hosts, we're not journalists. We're not paid to just report on what we see. We're fans, and we're paid to give our opinion as fans. So the guys that cover you on a daily basis, it's a much different animal than Evan and I coming on a Monday after a good game or a bad game and yelling and screaming, because we're doing it from the perspective of knowledgeable fandom. And in theory, if we do it right, we're representing every Jet fan out there that is reacting the way we're reacting.
Yeah, and so what I've learned is that there is nothing more passionate than a Jets fan. Albeit it's through a cynical lens because of what's happened in the past, and it's deserved. It's deserved, and our challenge is to try to flip that to make it more of a positive lens where we get the benefit of the doubt. And but there is no doubt in my mind that when this thing flips, this entire New York area is going to
100%
erupt. Oh, we did it with Rex Ryan. We've lived it. Like we've seen right in the precipice of a Super Bowl, and you're right. It became a Jet town.
The Jets are not the most popular team in New York City if you're like ranking them, but I swear I believe this, and I hope you give me a chance to be proven right. At that freaking Super Bowl parade, there would be more people there for this because it's been so long than any other team in this town. Now, do me one favor.
Well, maybe the Knicks.
Give me stop with the Knicks. Stop it. Give me a chance to be proven right, Coach.
God willing, though.
God willing.
All right, so I got to put you on the spot before we let you go, and no coach speak. You're just gonna have to lay it out there, and you're gonna live by it. All right. All right. So I think it's 3 questions. Number 1, Knicks or Nets?
Oh,
Zip it over there.
Do you want to win?
Because I don't want to see you at both. I don't want to see, guess what? The Jets are on a bye week. This coach sitting courtside looking at KD. Hey, coach was at the Garden last week. So Knicks or Nets, you can't pick both.
So I'm a Pistons guy because I was born in Detroit, but I enjoy watching them both because they both have a different flavor.
Out. Okay, Mets or Yankees, and don't say the Tigers.
Come on, Alan Trammell, Lou Whitaker, Jack Morris, all those great guys.
Old school Tigers.
No. You solved the trick question. He's right with those answers
because he's born there.
No, that thought's the right answer. You're not saying, I'm going to say the Nets or I'm going to say the Knicks. You're saying the real answers.
Well, he's a real fan of the Tigers and the Pistons.
Yeah,
so
but I do love going. I will say this, I went to my first Yankees game. They were playing the Tigers.
Okay.
And we sat through the whole thing. It was awesome just to be part of the allure in the Yankees.
Did you wear a Tiger hat, Coach?
Oh, God, no.
He's not stupid.
No, I was talking to my kids. I told my kids, when we're in New York, we're New York fans. Right. So we did cheer for
Are
the
the
Yankees.
kids New York, other than the Jets, obviously? Have the kids adopted the local teams?
Well, you know what's interesting? My kids... we're glorified military as coaches, so we've moved so many different places.
Sure.
So my kids identify where they were born. So even though my son only lived in Houston for 3 months, he thinks he's an Astros guy and a Rockets guy. And then I've got my other 2 kids were born in Seattle, a couple in Jacksonville, 1 in Detroit.
So as they get older, they're going to battle. Those Sundays are going to be great. So not so great for your wife, but
they're all Jets fans. So
good.
Yeah, rightfully so. Do you love it? Are you enjoying it as much as you thought you would?
No, I love it. I'm blessed. Every day I wake up very blessed because considering where we came from, especially me and my wife when we were living in a little 1-bedroom apartment.
Sure.
We've come a long way. We've been very fortunate. We've been helped along the way. We've had great players that helped us along the way, and hopefully we can all the great experiences that we've had in other places. Hopefully we can bring.
Well, your story is your story resonates because it's proof to people that might be struggling or might be in a job they hate or going down a road that they're not comfortable with, that if you want something badly enough and if you're willing to work for it hard enough and take your hard knocks along the way, you can accomplish and achieve whatever the dream is. That's real. You weren't a football coach 30 years ago, and you decided one day, we all know why, that that you thought that was your calling and that's what moved you, made you happy. And here you are all those years later, and the hard work paid off. And I think that's a great lesson for people that might be in a bad spot right now.
No, and the one thing I'll say, and I learned it a long time ago, is that there's a lot of times because of the world we live in, we chase money. And what I've learned through this whole process, because I haven't had a decision, I could have stayed making money at the bank, or I could have chased what I love. And if you do what you love, it'll love you back.
Sure.
So if you're chasing the love of whatever your passion is, I promise all that other stuff will flow, and I've been fortunate.
Thank you for coming on.
Yes, sir.
Good luck this season.
10 wins, Coach. 10 wins.
Oh,
thank you.
Coach Saleh. We'll continue with more right after this on The Fan.